Hi, folks. Welcome to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm your host, Mark, and this is my co host, Harry.
Hello.
All right, for anyone new, all three and a half of you who haven't been to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark before, we are one idiot who ropes in another person claiming to be a second idiot who talk about things that they have no idea about. Here Hitting Mark with Harry and Mark, we like to talk about things from media, video games, occasionally a little bit of news, anything that really tickles our fancy. Is that right, Harry?
Always.
Always, he says, and he'll believe it too. Anyway, um, I just can't. I just can't with you. I can't, Bear. Anyway, so let's see. As of now, I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
when we were talking about the Star Trek episodes and the Mandalorian episodes, they kept coming out the day of or the day after we would do our episodes. And same thing's happening for WandaVision. So I'm like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking about these two episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one's gonna be out tomorrow. And then all of our competition, everyone with the other the higher single digit or low double digit viewer count,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be all over it because they're probably doing their podcasts on the weekend,
Oh,
and we're the only idiots who are doing it Thursday evening.
damn. Fucked up.
I know, we really did, and we can't move out of it now. We can't back out. We just
Nope.
have to accept the dog shit. Heartbreak,
Kid.
sincere heartbreak. Anyway, who doesn't like Thursdays? So let's see. If you want, Harry, do you want to talk about WandaVision first?
Sure. I'll start off. So I went into it, and the first thing that came to mind was, what the fuck happened in like what happened at Endgame? I don't I remember Vision getting fucking murdered,
Twice.
and twice. Did it happen twice?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Insult to
Okay.
injury.
Yeah.
Fucking come on, man. They were like, "Oh, we can't let him get the stone." And
Right.
fucking Wanda's like, "No," and he was like, "I love you," and he fucking
Oh,
dies.
that's right.
And then
Kill
Thanos is like,
brings him
"Oh,
back to
Harry,
life.
now's no time to cry. Now's no time at all." And he does the, the hand clock thing, and then brings it back and just fucking yeets the stone out of his forehead like it's a fucking
You're
walnut.
right. Fuck, I remember that was brutal as shit. Okay, you're right.
Mhm,
Okay, so
mhm, mhm.
that's I remember him dying that way, and then I don't remember what happens with Scarlet Witch afterwards. Like, she just fights in that big battle, and that's it, right? Like, there's
Yeah,
supposedly nothing
yeah.
afterwards. So this,
Her
like,
ass fucking disappears, gets snapped, and then she comes back and she's like, "You took everything," and like it doesn't matter because like it's not the same Thanos. And he's like, "I don't even know you," and then he gets
right.
fucking wrecked.
Mm-hmm. So like, I'm just I was just confused. Like, wait, where did they even end after Endgame? I don't remember
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
happened to these
So,
two. So
um,
I'm at the right point, right? Like last we saw, Vision was dead, and then
yeah,
Scarlet Witch just fought in that battle, and that's it, right? There's nothing after
yeah.
that we know of.
So
Okay.
the only thing that you see like post that is at
Mm,
the Stark funeral when her and Clint, Hawkeye share a nice little moment, and that's it.
okay.
They were apparently gonna do some kind of post-credit scene that alludes to WandaVision, but they
Yeah.
didn't. They decided to be classy, so
Okay.
yeah.
For sure. Okay. I go in just being like fuck like this makes like this show to me like makes no sense because I'm like afterwards like he's supposed to be dead and there's nothing that alludes that something's happening with her. So like
Hmm.
I'm so that's me going into the show.
Yeah.
So then watching it, I thought it was cool. It's pretty humorous. It's a throwback to that style of TV shows, you know.
Hmm.
And I thought it was cool, you know. So, and then obviously all the stuff that happens that like, oh wait, there's something up, there's something going on,
Oh
but
yeah,
we just
yeah.
don't know what it is. I think it's a cool little twist. I am intrigued to find out what is happening because obviously we know how their past was, and we're figuring out at the moment what's happening. So far, I like it. I mean, there hasn't been a show that has gone that style. Like, what is that? 50s TV? I don't. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
50s. What it
Yeah.
looks like they're doing is they're moving from decade to decade. So
Oh.
the first episode looks like it leaned really heavily into like the Dick Van Dyke Show and a little bit of I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And then the second episode had like the intro of Bewitched.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
For all three and a half of you out there, I don't know if there are any other shows that had the whole cartoony bit or just the interplay between all the characters in the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone would like to add to this discussion, please drop our email, which we'll plug in at the end. But anyway, keep going here, Bear.
No, that's great info. Like, you're right. I didn't know that much about TV of those decades to get that. Like, you're right. Like the whole intro, and then obviously, quote unquote spoiler alert. At the end of the second episode, it goes to colored. So it's like,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense where you said it's decade to decade. It's like, and it just hit me now. I'm like, you're fucking right. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah. I'm glad. See, hold on. I want to pause this. I don't mean to go off on a tangent. Ladies and gentlemen, fucking our boy Harry. He's so afraid to talk sometimes.
I am.
And I know I talk like a fucking East Coast grandmother who never lets her fucking children get a moment edgewise. But like, did you hear that? That was like a good couple minutes of fucking input, completely unperturbed by me.
It's great.
Huh? Let's give him a round of applause, huh?
Yay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a laugh track or an applause track just for you. It's gonna
Sounds
be
great.
it's gonna be the first interracial kiss. Ooh! Every time. Every
Perfect.
time.
All right.
Trivia, by the way, Star Trek was the first interracial kiss. Anyway,
I think that's my tidbit on it. Yeah, you
your
go for
tidbit.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a half hour of me just spewing out spit and opinion?
Yeah, I'm fucking down.
Good. So let's give the rundown. The first two episodes start and kind of go about the day-to-day lives of Wanda Maximoff and Vision, or the Vision, with these odd little bits of reality kind of rearing their ugly head at the two characters. So what I mean is, the show up until the first two episodes is almost entirely black and white. They riff off of all of the funny little idiosyncrasies of the 50s and 60s. Let's see. One of the things that they managed to almost perfectly kind of combined with some of the funnier aspects of that era is especially like the Dick Van Dyke Show or the I Love Lucy show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit where Vision is at his work and he's doing all these computational computations, and he asks what they're doing, and I thought that was my immediate bit was laughter because I didn't immediately go to like the story element of it. It was more of like the fact that the husband or the male character just has a job and they never explicitly state what it is. So it was a nice little bit where they were like, "Oh, hey, what do we do here?" And it's like, "Oh, that's kind of like joking about what the main characters do for a living because you never know." And then of course, like the secondary bit was, "Oh, there's some ulterior thing going in here in relation to the reality that they're in." Back on track, I'm sorry. So it seems that Wanda has created some kind of a reality where she can be with her love, Vision. As we were talking about it at the beginning of the podcast, Vision died at the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end of Infinity War, and he's still dead. I don't know. We don't know what circumstances brought him back, but for the moment, the time being, gladly he is alive, and they are engaging in weird, altered reality hijinkses where they are assuming the roles of popular shows of specific eras. So the first episode was the 50s, like I said, with the Dick Van Dyke Show and I Love Lucy. The second one was more in the vein of Bewitched. One of the things, if I may point out some of the things that I like, first of all, are the performances. I think the fact that it's just the two of them, for the most part, it's just the two of them. They get to kind of stretch their acting chops. Elizabeth Olsen she does a really good job playing Wanda Maximoff in the previous movies, but I really am glad that she is getting a little more variety in each episode that we see, and especially the show in general. She gets to go a little bit beyond the tortured Eastern European mutant character. Paul Bettany is great. He gets to go beyond the very stoic robot man who loves to the plucky husband, and then the goofy character. It's really nice seeing these two actors really ham it up at some of like the best points, and then kind of tone it back a little.
Yeah.
That being said, another thing I really love is the set design. They really get you into the feeling of the 1950s and 60s. You know what? As someone who loves movies so much, it kills me. I don't know the classification. The cinematography, I would suppose. I don't know. The way that they set the cameras up to feel very in the era too, which makes all of the really weird scenes where the illusion is broken and filmed in a very modern camera style feel so much weirder. There are two scenes in particular, the endings of both episodes respectively, where there's a little circumstance that happens at the dinner table, and the camera very slowly like leans in, and it's camera work that you don't see in that era, except that episode had been using that era's worth of camera work, and it felt very foreign, and it really put your spine kind of, put your God, what am I saying? It really puts you on edge. And then the same thing with the second episode, where their little hijinkses are over and they're at the house and they hear a commotion, and they go outside and they see something from outside of this reality, and again the camera kind of pans towards them, and you see a very unnatural first person, or what is it? Yeah, first person shot, and the ability of the filmmakers to generate this false sense of nostalgia, I would say, or this false kind of television style, and then very deftly kind of pull you out of it, I think is really good. The music's good. The supporting cast is really good. I think what's pulling me, if you can't tell, I'm kind of gushing over it. My ass was fucking like, oh, like a Mandalorian episode every week, but my ass is like waiting for it to be fucking 12 so I can see the next episode of WandaVision. I've never been so excited for a Marvel production. I love the sense of mystery. I love the characters. I'm really impressed with the overall genre bending that they're doing. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about this on the podcast, where the dramatic hero's journey, isn't really doing it for us anymore, I think. And it needs the MCU. The MCU needs to be injected with a little bit more variety. And I think this is one of the great starts to it, honestly. I would have liked to have seen Black Widow to see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
All things said and done, I do think this is a really great opening. Great sense of mystery, great characters, great design. I love some of the knocks at 50s sexism that they poke in there every so
Mm-hmm.
often, like the what's the magazine where they talk about how to woo your husband or woo
Yeah.
your boyfriend. Like, I love some of that, and I love that it's not just a commentary on it. The writing does not go so far as to make all of your characters fit that type. Wanda goes against all of that typecasting that these actresses would have gone through at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm done spieling over that. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Honestly, I think this is the first mystery-esque related piece of media that the MCU has had. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and actually, that again, that just hit me. Like, you're right. It is a there is not really like, you kind of go in already knowing what's going on, or it's like an origin story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
this one's kind of like, you know, the origin already. You know who they are, but then you go in and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, who, like, what's going on? This is such a, like,
Oh yeah.
you know it's not real just by, the way you're thrown in. And then obviously the outro, it's like someone's watching this
Mm-hmm.
happening, so it's like, this isn't real, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Like, and
Yeah.
it gets, I think it's a great way to have, like, I'm someone who's watching the show, so I'm intrigued to find out what's going to happen or where they're at and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
trying.
I do agree. I also think they're introducing information at a really, I think, slower pace than MCU normally would. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like Monica Rambeau, who is the daughter of Captain Marvel's favorite character, or best friend in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The girl who plays Geraldine, she's Monica Rambeau,
Okay.
uh, who also herself becomes a superhero with powers. I think her name is um, Signal, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter. But I like that she's introduced. I like that Sword is introduced, the extraterrestrial version of Shield. Basically, there are some really interesting elements that really grab you by the pants. And
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying, we've already been introduced to these characters.
Yeah.
This isn't like a conventional Thor, like, coming of age bit where he has to learn something. I mean, Wanda probably has to learn something at the end of this, uh,
Right.
which is probably going to be heartbreaking, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really, I cannot understate how impressed I am. This is a really good opening piece of media for the franchise. It completely, I mean, we're 2 episodes in, they got 7 more. They could totally derail it, I understand. But they're approaching this in a very different way, and I really hope that MCU, or at least Disney, or whoever's heading all this, learns the right lessons from this show. Not that everything needs to be necessarily funny and mysterious, but that leaning into some of the genre tropes and what, or not tropes, but leaning into some of the genre bits is probably for the better. It will not harm the franchise if they kind of stray a little away from the true path.
Yeah.
Good man, Harry. Good man. I got like a good couple sentences out of you, and then yeah, you're, god damn it, you're such a good bear.
No, I mean, I agree.
Did I tell you I love you today?
Yes, you did.
All right, just checking. Checking.
Just letting you do your thing, man.
I do too many things.
But yeah, overall, I like it, and I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah, me too.
And I was gonna say before, where like as someone who hasn't seen anything, like I try to always try to step back and take that view of someone who hasn't watched it before, like know anything beforehand, just going in brand new. Like I think the whole black and white 50s thing is very intriguing. Like it's like, oh wow, this is different, you know. So it's like you're captivating people who aren't in the Marvel series, and you see everything that's going on, and you realize, oh, there is something going in the background, right? Like it's this couple who's, you know, has superpowers, but they're trying to be normal, you know.
Yeah,
So
I was talking to my girlfriend about. You're absolutely right. I completely agree with what you're saying.
yeah.
I was talking with my girlfriend, and like the headcanon I had here was that, like, you know how when she so in Age of Ultron, the 2nd
Mhm.
Avengers film, her and her brother talk about how her parents were killed when she was very young and a Stark missile came and
Mhm.
whatever. I'd like to imagine that, like, she keeps harkening back to these because these were the shows that she was able to watch as a kid, and she kind of viewed these as like, oh well, I kind of love this because this is this era of film, or not era of film. It's not that it has anything to do with it, but like this is a point where I was happy before my parents died. You know, she comes across these shows mainly because she's, you know, from Sokovia and they're a fucking Soviet satellite, and they probably had a rinky-dink television set and they didn't get fucking all the new shit. So all she could watch were these old shows, and this is a point for her when she's most happy, and she wants to share that with someone who she can't share it anymore because he's dead,
Yeah.
because she killed him, and then a big fucking purple dude killed him again.
I mean, I can't believe I completely forgot about that.
That was so fucking awful. He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, I know what it's like," and she's like, "No, you fucking don't. Don't be a fucking asshole." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. But now's not the time to cry. Now's not a time at all." And he was like winking into the camera because he came up with like a really great pun, and then just fucking while looking at the camera, just fucking yeets the stone out of Vision's head. And I'm like, what a dick.
What a dick.
Anywho, on to another Disney-owned product. I
Mhm.
can't help but feel like we can't escape Star Wars.
Yeah,
We
that's
can't.
my fault.
I feel like no, how's that fucking your fault? I was the one who talked about this shit like the last 4 episodes. Um, Star Wars is a sinkhole, ladies and gentlemen. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
one of the very sinkholes from episode 3 of Utapau. Um, Last week we were talking about Harry deciding to watch the sorry, ladies and gentlemen, deciding to watch the prequels. And how many episodes have you gotten in so far? Are we doing like an episode by episode? Are we doing like all of them at once? Shit on them, praise them, what?
I've only watched episode 1 and episode 2.
Okay.
I'm at some point maybe gonna watch episode 3 once I get out of the funk that episode 2 put me into.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. Um. Um. I'll say this: Count Dooku was fucking awesome. Let me rephrase that. Christopher Lee was fucking awesome.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, you can say Count Dooku. I won't challenge you on that. Dooku's pretty cool.
Obi-Wan did a fantastic job. I think I was messaging you while I was watching the movie, and I was just you're telling me like just Obi-Wan storyline is what is worth in that, and it was going to the clones and dealing with Boba Fett and or no, not Boba Fett.
Boba Fett Senior.
Boba Fett Senior. Okay. Yeah, that
Jango
dude.
Fett.
Yeah,
Bungo
Jango
Baggins.
Fett. That guy. You know, his storyline and whatnot, like that was cool. But definitely the whole Anakin Padme yeah, that was fucking awful. I mean,
But it has
I'm
the
gonna
best memes. No one fucking memes the Kenobi
Okay,
fucking Plot line?
because he is a meme.
Yeah.
Like that was like the best part. Like I think I was talking to Livy how like what's his face, or was I talking to you? I don't know who I was talking to. That it seemed like I forgot his name. Fucking guy that everyone laughs at in the episode 1 doesn't like him.
Oh.
Binks.
Fucking,
there you go.
Yeah, no,
Jar Jar
I
Binks.
got you. Jar Jar Binks.
So Jar Jar Binks in episode 1 seemed to be the comedic relief. Episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, he's a whole bunch of really bad, like,
Right, but
coded stuff.
It seemed like that's what they brought him into the story for. Because in episode 2 and 3, like, Obi-Wan is the comedic relief. Like, he, hands down, like, the one-liners are great.
Yeah, he's got those fucking always on the move.
Right?
How many times I'd stay away from power couplings? Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
The best one that Livy and I laughed at when he walks into the bar with Anakin, he's like, "Why do I feel like you're going to be the death of me?" It's so good.
Might as well just fucking look at the camera, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's oh my god. Like
for me, it's actually right after that. It's the fucking death stick dealer. You want to buy some death sticks? I don't want to buy any death sticks. I don't want to say death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life? I want to go home and rethink my life.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Why the fuck couldn't he do that to the dude in the bar in episode 4? Jesus. Got to cut his fucking arm off?
But yeah, so like
keep going.
Obi-Wan's storyline was fucking fantastic. It's just it's funny because you know, to the viewers, my girlfriend and I, Livy, we were sitting down and watching the movie, and every interaction that Anakin had with Padme was just, I guess the best word that came up is cringy. And just like, the thing is like, everything seemed like Padme was like, dude, you're fucking creep. Every moment that they had was,
and then
you're
at
a
the
creep.
End of the episode, it's like, I'm deeply, madly in love with you.
It's no, the moment when they first kiss, when they go to that retreat or whatever, it's like, what the fuck? Like you're this whole time you were like giving him shit and saying like just giving him looks like, what was it when they're talking about politics, and then she was like, the way he's describing him, like, so you're basically talking about a dictatorship.
Fascist. Yeah,
it's like you're saying a dictator. You're describing dictatorship.
Dick shapership.
You want to be dick shapership. You know, and it's like, even she makes that face like, the fuck is wrong with this dude?
She's like, oh my god, I had the hots for a 9-year-old. Now I got the hots for a fucking school shooter.
Basically, like that part just doesn't make any sense because they directed like Padme is not into this, but for some fucking reason she loves him and wants to be with him and marry him. Like,
there's no chemistry between the two of them.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I think it develops a little better in the 3rd episode because, like, most of the cringe dialogue is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And it hurts because they want to go for, like, fucking the most, like, romantic fucking charged, heated fucking dialogue you can think of. Like, but we'd have to keep it a secret. Oh, but you do feel something for me. And I just can't.
Yeah, it was bad.
I can't.
Yeah, like, and the other thing is, like, the whole, like, how do you say it? Like, I don't know, like, I get she was, like, a kind of like Leia, where she's, like, you know, princess, and then, like, is, like, running around with a blaster and shooting things. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know, like, Padme's the same way. Like, even, like, the getup in episode 2 later on that she's wearing, like,
yeah, the white suit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to, like, I don't know. It's just, they're trying to follow Leia traits way too much. Like, I get it, it's Leia's mother, but come on.
Yeah.
Like episode 2, that whole thing with Leia and Anakin kind of ruined. Like, it's funny because we're watching episode 1, and what you're talking about, like the whole Jedi thing, and how Qui-Gon was talking about everything, how, like, and Obi-Wan's telling him, like, oh, if only you followed what they said, you'd be part of the Order. You know what I mean? Like, all that stuff. Like, I was rewatching that, and I was like, oh, God, like, he's right. Like, I haven't watched it since I was a kid, so I didn't really pay attention to that dialogue, because it, went right over my head.
Yeah, because why the fuck would you? You want the lightsabers.
Right. Exactly. And so, like, rewatching, I'm like, wow, like, Mark was right, dude. Like, there's hella shit in, like, it made me like Phantom Menace even more. Obviously,
yeah.
Going and seeing Darth Maul and shit, I was like, oh, God, so good. I love that Darth Maul didn't say a fucking word when he, like, finally fights off with him.
He just says a bunch of stuff that gets muted and then dubbed over by someone else.
Yeah.
There you go. Doesn't say a single word.
But, yeah, like, I don't know. I thought that was great. But yeah, episode 2 was, I think it was a little lackluster.
I think the best way to, like, articulate that is it's just the whole bodyguard love thing just drags the story down.
Yes.
So there's 100%. Nothing, like, if they wanted to do, like, this slow, heartfelt thing, it could have worked. But I think they didn't have all the pieces there. Because you have on one side this... Actually, in my opinion, I think it's pretty well paced. This pretty interesting, like, investigation where he goes to Kamino, he finds out, like, oh shit, what the fuck you been doing all my fucking time? Jesus, there's a fucking million of these fuckers, right?
Yeah.
Like, he finds this out. And then he finds the guy who killed the assassin. And then the assassin gets a fuck away, and then they go to, like, some awesome fucking space chase, and then they go to the fucking, Geonosis, and then you find out that there's a Separatist army coming up. And, like, that has this really great progression, right? Where it's like, oh, my investigations actually fucking led me somewhere.
Yep.
And then, at the same time, oh, hey, let me bodyguard this chick I've had a crush on, let me hit on her, she don't want me, I'm having nightmares, let me be a school shooter for a moment, and then let's go back and then help my master. It's like, it's not... One of the things that... God damn it, every episode. One of the things that I think makes it comparable in some ways to The Last Jedi is that I find Rey's storyline so goddamn compelling, and Poe's kind of to a lesser extent, but I find the entire bit where they go to the casino planet just drags the whole movie down. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it for some parts. I love DJ, the stuttering, like, fast-talking hacker dude, but, like, it just pulls me out of the movie when I see it. I get why it's there, I get all that. It technically fits narrative-wise, but the way it's executed just does not keep the pace. That's the thing. If there had been some way that tension or inciting action, not inciting action, tension or action had been, like, stretched on Anakin's side, maybe, like, they were escaping and then they're pursued by separatists, and then half of the story is Obi-Wan doing this investigation, which has some, highs and lows, and then it's Padme and Anakin kind of back to back surviving this onslaught of, like, people trying to kill her.
Yeah.
That, I think, would have been pretty good. Again, the clone army thing doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh yeah, dude. So we're like, while we're doing that, like we're trying to figure out like how did this clone army come to be. So they say to Master something something. We're like, we've never heard that name
Jedi
before.
Master Cypher-Deus is still a
Cypher-Deus, yeah,
leading member of the Jedi Order. Oh, Master Cypher's been killed almost 10 years ago.
yeah.
Fucking, these guys are like, oh, hey, man, we built the clone army you asked for, and Kenobi's like, I didn't fucking order that.
I mean, he played it off like, oh yeah, that's why I'm here. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's
Because he
why
even
I'm
asked
here.
questions like, so what did he say about like
Yeah,
he's
like,
playing along.
yeah, I don't need to know about this, but my friend right next to me does. So fill him in, and I'll just stand right next to you.
Again,
Like,
comedic relief. He does a
yeah,
great job,
fucking,
but it's just like because we're reading up on it, and like apparently like George Lucas had like these different ideas of what to do with it, and he ended up
yeah.
not doing any of them.
Hmm.
Like, wait, what?
So, like, what's disappointing is that I think what a lot of people don't care for with the Phantom Menace is the Phantom Menace is really contained.
Mm.
Like, the only difference is the fucking the shonen tournament level bad guy that like is pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, the fucking Trade Federation is doing a blockade. The political stuff is gonna bog down the story, but whatever. So let's get the queen out of here. People are dying, and then let's go to the fucking junk planet and help the little slave boy realize he's got the force. So like all of this culminates into uh, uh, a conclusion for that specific story. And then the rest of it's 10 years later where it's like, oh, turns out I bought some Bitcoin in the form of like hiring clones or creating clones
Mm-hmm.
to do a false flag operation to help the Republic, but I'm really doing it to create the Empire. You need to fucking watch fucking Revenge of the Sith so I can talk to you on this basis, dude.
Okay.
It's just it's so wacky. It if you think about it for a little while, it's so silly. It's so goddamn silly. But anyway,
Yeah. So, Phantom Menace was definitely worth rewatching. 100%.
hmm
Um,
hmm hmm
Clone Wars. I'm glad I rewatched, or I'll say, yeah, I'm glad I rewatched it because I literally like as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this part, but like
hmm
I couldn't remember it before. Like it was, it was one of those
yeah,
movies that like, yeah. So like, I'm glad I rewatched it just for the Obi-Wan
for the
parts.
rewatching.
Yeah, for the rewatching and just realizing how horrible that writing was. And I do want to watch the third one. I will watch the third one at some point. I promise.
Fucking Jedi mind trick, you bitch. You want to watch the movie?
I do at some point. But
I didn't say that.
yeah.
Fucking watch that shit right now.
Yeah. I just it was a good rewatching. It was worth
Hmm
rewatching. I'll have more to say next week after I watch Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
Damn straight. Was there anything else, or should we go into video game
Oh,
topics?
I have a fucking complaint. I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm fucking saying this after last week when we were shitting on The Hobbit. So, I read the. So, for everyone, I read at the pace of a 5-year-old. Be gentle with me. Last week, I had started the book. This week, I'm on the Trolls level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty good, guys. So, spoilers for The Hobbit, you've had 70, 80 years. The dwarves spot a fire, and they're like, "Go check that shit out, burglar." And Hobbit Bilbo Burglar is like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna check that shit out." And he runs into the 3 trolls, the cave
Mm-hmm.
trolls, and they're all bitching and moaning about what to eat because they're all just eating fucking mutton every single day. And Bilbo gets caught trying to pickpocket one of them, being a fucking bitch ass. So a couple of the dwarves, worried about Bilbo, head towards the fire. Bilbo escapes, but the trolls start to capture the dwarves, right? And they're all debating as to whether or not they're gonna like mince the dwarves and cook them in the stew, squash them in the jelly, or just fucking sear them or whatever, roast them. And while this is going on, a strange voice is projecting to these trolls in in the sense of like, oh, one of our own is saying this. So the three of them are having this argument, and and this voice comes out of nowhere pretending to be one of the three, inciting arguments. And because trolls are fucking idiots with like short fucking attention spans, they keep falling for it and arguing and arguing and arguing until the sun comes up and they turn to stone. You realize that it's fucking Gandalf in the trees, fucking doing project voice and stalling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and for anyone who didn't fucking know, trolls turn to stone in light because they're fucking made of stone. Whatever. So, I'm gonna be honest. After remembering what happens in the Hobbit movie, and people are gonna fucking cringe at this, I know. I think the Hobbit movie might have done it better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, hear me out really quick.
hearing you
Okay?
out.
Okay? Okay?
I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here.
So, I like that Gandalf does that in the book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Okay? You hear me? I like that he does that. I do think it is a missed opportunity for Bilbo to show that he is exceptional in other ways, which is what the movie does. I get that the book is setting it up probably as some kind of learning experience or like a blunder on his part that he is comparatively going to get better later on in the book. But I like that in the movie, he is captured along with the dwarves and manages to stall them long enough once he realizes Gandalf is in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And Gandalf picking up on this assists in the movie and then helps him turn to stone. I feel like that might have been a little more satisfying because it proves that Bilbo is not only capable in the ways that the group wants him to be, but in his own kind of Bilbo-y way, and it makes him a little more cunning. I know that you've read it. Don't fucking spoil it for me. I'm fairly certain he will improve in his burglaring, or burglating, or burglaring.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing the cartoon and interpreting it a different way, or at the very least, remembering the fucking movie. I can't believe I'm saying this. Remembering the movie and being very impressed with Bilbo's character and the fact that he might not have been able to burgle just yet, but he was able to think on his toes, his hairy, fat little toes. And in the book, it's let me just kind of hide in the trees while I notice Gandalf, and then he does the voice projecting to screw with them, and then helps turn them to stone.
Right.
God, I can't believe I fucking said that. Can't believe.
I mean,
I do, however. Go ahead.
No, I did say last week that I thought that's what the book did. Like it was hard to do that from the book into a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, going 2 by 2. You know, it's like it would have just taken a long time. You know, it's like in book form, it's easy because you know it's like you just kind of like, all right, they go 2 by 2. But like in movie form, it's not as easy to do it. You know.
Well, see, what I think you're getting hung up on is like following it to the T. If it had been like, if they'd had taken some creative liberty where it was like, so the first guy who gets fucking nabbed is Balin, right? The brother of Dwalin and like the cousin of Thorin. If Balin had been captured and like the trolls heard the dwarves calling out and just started like sacking them in a flurry or just luring them all in and capturing them for the most part all at once, like that wouldn't have been a problem. Like, just take a little creative liberty. It doesn't have to be like as goofy. Like, keep up the goof, but like it doesn't have to be that goofy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair
But
enough.
what I was more concerned about is like the character growth that, or not the character growth, but the character highlighting that could have come from that moment that you get in the movie that you don't get in the book.
Right. Right.
But yeah, fuck the Hobbit. Anyway, talk about your fucking video games. I hate video games.
So
Cyberpunk is. I've reached a threshold. I can't.
really?
No, we'll talk about it later. Tell me. What's ailing you,
let's talk about Resident Evil. So there's a showcase today, which I watched.
I have not seen it. Tell me about it.
So we'll just go straight forward. It's obviously called Resident Evil Village, and it's basically the 8th installment of Resident Evil. They did release a demo for it. It's actually, I kind of like this. It's released. No. I have not. So it's only on the PlayStation 5.
Fucking poser.
It's only on the PlayStation 5, and it's called Maiden.
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 Maiden. I'm sorry.
Maiden, yeah. And so it actually, like, you know how most demos is about you're paying the main character, you're doing your thing. It's kind of like the intro to the game or something. You know what I mean? That's what the demo usually is. So this demo, it follows someone else, and it actually there's no combat in it.
Really?
It's basically a demo that brings you into the atmosphere of the game. It's kind of.
It's a fucking walking simulator.
I think that's kind of what it is, but it's more like just like, you know, you're basically a prisoner in the castle that the main, you know, story revolves around, and you kind of escape, and it seems like you kind of go around and do stuff. Like, it kind of gets you in this castle, so you see what's happening, and I'm sure you run into some enemies and you try to run away because you're literally, you know, a prisoner that has come, you know, free somewhat, I think, and you kind of go around, right? So I thought that was cool because most demos I never download because I'm like, I'm just gonna play the game, so why would I download the demo, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how I usually. So when this one, it's like, this is actually a pretty cool demo to go into the game. It might even be such a great demo that you just have it just to play, you know, like down the road, like if you already played the, you know, Resident Evil Village and you're like, oh, I want to try this basically extra game that you can go in and play later on. Like, I thought that was cool. Yeah.
You know the last demo I've ever fucking played? Jak 3.
Jak 3. Wow. Damn, I don't know. The last demo I've downloaded is the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. Never played it because I told myself I'm just going to play the game.
Final Fantasy's trash. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were your impressions of the Resident Evil walking simulator?
They didn't show a lot of gameplay. They just said, "Hey, it's available today." So they obviously they didn't want to spoil anything. They're just like, "Go play it. It's out there for PlayStation 5 people only."
Well, why aren't you making bank from this podcast and go buy yourself a PS5?
Because I'm not making bank from this podcast.
Says fucking who? I'll pay you.
So obviously,
Patreon, get an OnlyFans. I got you there.
So basically, it's obviously for all systems. The other great thing that I actually like, I hope other companies do the same thing, is they're actually releasing it for the previous console. So it's actually going to be out for the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Oh, it's cross-generational, huh?
Yeah. And the even better part is, if you buy it for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you can actually get a free digital upgrade.
Oh, shit, nice.
Right?
Yeah, they've been doing that with a couple of the a couple of their games.
Yeah, so I don't know what other games do that, but
I'm really loving that because it's really a nice, less dickheady thing to do.
It really is.
I appreciate that some video game companies are doing that.
Yeah, like I know there's a lot of cross platform games out there. I think one that we play is Warzone. But
Yeah.
I was playing Destiny 2 with Wolf and Michael for a while. And that one kind of annoyed me because I got the basically the DLCs for the PC, but when I would go play on the PlayStation, I did not have them. So I was kind of bummed about that. Like, man, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, so I'd have to
Yeah, that
pay.
is kind of bummy.
Yeah, so for this, it's like, like it's kind of the same concept of like I bought it for the PlayStation 4, I have it for the PlayStation 4, but now I have a PS5. Like I'm kind of stuck with this PS5, and I want to play this game. Now I got to go play it on my PS4, right? But now it's like I can just get a free upgrade, which is great, you know. So I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
can
was really
definitely
cool.
appreciate that. It makes everything. I think especially with how they're going to be doing the cloud-based gameplay now. I
Mm,
really think what you play it on shouldn't necessarily matter. Just that you purchased a console, you put money down to be able to play it, and put money down to play it.
right,
That's literally all that should matter. If you focus on like giving people the ability to play anywhere, they'll be more invested in the things you pay to get them to play.
right.
So yeah, I can appreciate that.
Obviously the release date is going to be May 7th, so not too far out.
You know
What,
what?
less than 4 months?
That's like fucking 4 months away from Deathloop. Oh, Deathloop.
Ooh,
God,
that's gonna be
fuck
good.
Resident Evil. Can we just talk about Deathloop? A
If you
game that
want.
has yeah, just barely any information. Comes out in fucking 5 months. It's a fucking PlayStation 5 exclusive, even though fucking Microsoft owns Bethesda. God damn it! I've been an Xbox man for like 8 years now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it kills me. It absolutely kills me. God.
That's where you fucked up, though.
You know what? Fuck you, Harry.
Yeah.
You're right. I hate you, but you're right.
um. Obviously, there's like collector editions and stuff and whatnot.
Mhm.
So the story basically is a continuation of Resident Evil 7. So,
Okay.
was it?
What fill everyone in who I mean I know the story, but maybe you want to fill in some of our viewers. What's the story behind Resident Evil 7?
I have no idea. I've never played it.
Harry, I asked you for one
uh,
simple thing, and you can't even you can't. You
hey,
just
look, Resident Evil 7.
Steven. I
Yeah,
like
I
that
know,
more.
right? Sabin. Yeah, Resident Evil Sabin. But I think it came out like really highly as a VR game because it
Yeah,
was.
I've heard that.
I think it was like it might be the first Resident Evil as a first person view, and they basically went back to that horror survival landscape of Resident Evil. The
They
original
just
three.
added hillbillies.
They just added hillbillies.
Yeah, Billy Hills.
Yeah, so that's basically all I really know. But I know in the trailer, they reference, or when they're talking about it in the whatever the hell happened, the thing showcase, they're saying that you're playing the same character that was in 7, so it's just a continuation of their story.
Who
And
the fuck
they,
does that person think he is? Or she.
it's a male. I forgot their name. Whatever, that person. They do have a merchant again this time.
What are you buying?
Exactly. I wonder if I can. No. Basically, it's just this dude in a cart, really overweight person, but apparently, they really worked on them as like to have their own like character, like their own personality and stuff. So they really
Okay.
emphasized on them, like you'll find them in the most random spots and doing the most random things, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Um, oh, I guess
Oh,
the
like fucking Malcolm
yeah,
from from New Vegas.
I'm drawing a blank. I need
The
to replay
fucking
that game.
coin dude. You pick up enough fucking caps with the little star, and he fills you in on the little.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
This
Yes.
fucking guy. This fucking guy. Oh yeah, I fucking love New Vegas. Oh, it's so good. Who the fuck is Malcolm?
Hey, all right. I did a lot of stupid stuff in that game. All right.
Yeah?
I
Well, you
I
also
didn't.
probably killed the NCR president, didn't you? You worked for the Legion, you fucking psychopath.
I have worked for everyone. I've beat that game every with every ending that's possible. There you go. That one.
Nice.
They did go with the inventory for Resident Evil 8. They did go back to the Resident Evil 4 like inventory, which a lot of
Okay.
people are stoked about. Um,
Really?
and
The inventory management style stuff?
yeah, so that was cool. And basically the other announcement is they announced the base. I'm thinking it's that Resident Evil Battle Royale that we talked about. I think last month or so. It's called Resident Evil Reverse.
So, what the fuck is that? What does it mean?
Basically, from what I saw, it's a multiplayer,
Ew.
and you play as, I guess, any character in Resident Evil. You go in and you fight, and I don't know if you basically transform into zombies or monsters after you die. Not like, you die and then you come back as a zombie, but like you can come back as like Nemesis, as other, not normal zombies. Yeah, exactly. It's
That's all I know about Resident Evil, folks. I'm sorry.
it's I really don't know how to feel about it.
I have a hard time with multiplayer sometimes
Yeah,
because I feel like it's more of a push now for companies to introduce microtransactions or like replayability. Because replayability now is this big fucking thing.
yeah,
Because it's like, take like, what is it we play all the time? Fucking Warzone.
Warzone.
Like,
Yeah,
I guess that's it. Like, if it were up to me, I probably would never have come up with something like Warzone for Call of Duty, because Call of Duty has almost always been exclusively just like a multiplayer and a story mode game. But that makes sense. With Resident Evil, I can't help but feel it's kind of like a shameless like, oh hey, let's find a way to monetize or like drive up replayability instead of just creating like a solid story that has replayability to it. Like that's one of the things that I love about some Sony owned products. That's why I really like, with the exception of Uncharted, that's why I like lots of Naughty Dog products or IP, because it's almost always just a story and that's it. It's like they're more concerned with telling a story that can be replayable. Maybe not the latest one with its story and message, but you know, you know, you know. But again, Resident Evil. I hate to harp on like a fucking franchise I know nothing about or that I don't necessarily intend on playing, but I don't know. My knee-jerk reaction is that multiplayer could be fun. It might even be, successful, but at the end of the day, it feels a little commercially.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation offside of the podcast where there's just it seems like every game that nowadays just pushes multiplayer, and it kind of sucks. But even if the story's great, it's like they still have a multiplayer for some stupid reason, and you're just like, why?
Because it's like, I think Grand Theft Auto is one of the better examples of that, where it's like Grand Theft Auto 5 was supposed to have story DLC, right? And then they came out with or then they started adding so much shit to the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is what contributes to the majority of Rockstar's profit. It's
Mm,
not the game itself; it's the fucking multiplayer.
yeah.
So there's no incentive to improve upon the story or add anything to the story or the base game when the multiplayer is the thing that's making all your money. It's the
Right.
same thing as Call of Duty. There's
Right.
no
Yeah.
there's no point in adding a DLC story when you can just mine seasons off of people
Yeah.
and seasons and just keep
Fair
going with
enough.
all the purchasable loot and all that crap.
Yeah.
So,
I think, like, for example, Call of Duty obviously turned into a multiplayer uh, franchise. Like, obviously, it started
mhm.
as a single player because, multiplayer wasn't a thing, and then it, like, I think it obviously started with, like, people who played single player saying, man, if I can face my friend, I'd totally kick his ass. And then they're like,
Yeah.
well, fucking, let's see if you can. Here's some, local multiplayer, thank you, 007. Shit like that, right? And then it was like, wait, there's the internet? Like, I'm going to kick
Yeah.
other people's asses. And, that's where
And
Call
like,
of Duty
yeah.
started, right? And
But
then,
the thing is that at that point, no one had even considered monetizing multiplayer that
oh,
way.
no, no, not
Like,
at
I
all.
get, like, you had to pay for a live subscription, maybe you
Mm,
had to, like,
yeah.
but the thing is that you had to buy maps,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it.
That was it,
That
yeah.
was it. You had to, if you were playing Reach or Call of Duty at the time, you had to, like, earn credits to do
Mm,
this shit yourself. And then
yeah.
microtransactions came in. And then seasons came in. And then you realize that seasons
Yeah.
are just like this really awful way of just milking profit from your game.
Yep.
Instead of just making the game, you have to make some cheap golden goose part of your game that just keeps making you money and money. And that's, I'm not faulting any of the developers themselves, any of the people doing the code, any of the people doing the animations or the artwork. It's just how the business of game development is going. It's
Yeah.
not so much let's make a AAA title that's like a really good game. Let's make a business where you keep getting money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is again what I find so fascinating about fucking the Star Wars IP. All
Mm.
jokes aside, since we can't fucking get away from it, I am so fucking surprised that Jedi Fallen Order is even a game that exists under the EA IP.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Battlefront came out and they're coming out with a Squadrons game, and both of these games are not story heavy at
Mm.
all. These games are meant to be multiplayer focused that just milk you of like, oh, here, get the X-wing with this color. Oh, get the B-wing with this shade or whatever,
Yeah.
or oh, get the voice thing for this kind of character. Or it's like it's so impressive that this game came out without a multiplayer, without any, and I mean any fucking purchasable DLC components at all.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah,
I'm so
multiplayer
sorry.
and
I got off on a
no, it's
fucking
fine.
tangent about Resident Evil because Resident Evil fucking. I grew up in the wrong generation. I was like the new PlayStation. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. Not me, Mark. You, Mark.
Yeah, no, I don't think a game like or a franchise like Resident Evil should really have a multiplayer. I think it should stick to single player and focus on the single player game.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like another great game that was supposed to have not multiplayer but co-op, which sucks because I would have loved is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that game was supposed to have a co-op so you can play, with someone. And I thought that would have been great. And I think they're
Now, see,
implementing in the
that's
second one.
that's different to me
Yeah.
because I do think a co-op is different than multiplayer in that
Mm-hmm.
respect
And I think that
because it's
As,
The co-op, at least online co-op, is not something that has been heavily monetized.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it's something that I think they stopped and said, like let's just focus on the story, and then if
Hmm.
we come to it and we have time to implement a multiplayer or co-op, we'll do it. But we're focusing on the story because that's what we're selling, the story.
Right.
Where I think that's a lot of games nowadays that they don't they don't work on the story. They work on how much, like you said, how much money can we get off the multiplayer, and it kind of
Hmm.
sucks because it's like, a lot of us, especially us who grew up, in the 90s, early 2000s, where games had story. They had
Mm.
playability, without multiplayer, and that's kind of what I miss in games where, like, yes, there is some multiplayers out there that I can play over and over. I could Modern Warfare 2. I have probably like 300 plus hours playing Modern Warfare 2.
Hmm.
But it's like at some point it gets just too much. Like there's just everything has
Oh
to
yeah.
have a multiplayer, and it's like everything just kind of blends in. Everything's the same. Like you said, seasons. Everything has a season. It's like I just
I
want to have.
despise seasons.
I just want
Like,
to play.
yeah. Like I can understand like, oh, you wanting to create like a regular engaging like season for players to keep people interested. But
Yeah.
like the fact that this is like a very thinly veiled marketing scheme for people to buy more, and the fact that it's like the 3 month thing isn't some arbitrary number. They literally put that there. You know that episode of fucking Ed and Eddie when the Ed boys were like doing this game with Johnny and they kept
Hmm.
like pushing him to do all this. Oh, Johnny, throw the marshmallow at Ed. Oh no.
Oh
And at
yeah.
the end, they lead him to the goalpost and he runs the goalpost and they're all like, oh, Johnny, put the quarter in the jar. Put the quarter in the jar. And it's like you're so excited to get to level 100
Yeah.
before the time runs out, and you're rewarded if you get enough credits.
Right.
You could probably do each season for free, but that's not
Hmm.
what happens.
No.
That's the thing. That's not what happens. That's not many people have that freedom to play that way and still enjoy some of the things that you're providing, loot wise or customization wise. That's the shitty part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that I wish they got away, but they make so much money off of it.
Oh yeah.
People are just that's what people want, and that's what people do, and you see it with people like streaming on Twitch. Like a lot of people, that's their livelihood, playing
Oh
multiplayer
yeah.
games and whatnot. And people like to watch. People, there's thousands, probably millions of people watching people play games. It's crazy, but that's how it is nowadays. That's what's selling, and it is what it is. I mean, there's luckily there are games out there like Horizon Zero Dawn. There are games out
Hmm.
there like God of War, and it it's funny because they're specifically Sony exclusives, but I
Yeah.
think that's what differentiates Sony from Xbox. Is Sony is keeping to its roots, working on single player games first. They're
Hmm.
doing the God of War sequel. There's the Zero Horizon Dawn Part 2. Um,
Hmm.
and they're focusing on exclusive single player titles, which is fantastic. I'm glad Sony is sticking to their roots and continue that. And I wish, I think we discussed it again off podcast, like about how Xbox just doesn't have any single player exclusivity other
Oh,
than
they
like,
do now, motherfucker.
well, I mean, like before,
Yeah,
like the
before.
past couple of consoles, like there wasn't really much, like mainly it was multiplayer games, like we said, Gears, Halo, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it's just like those games to a certain point, just you get bored of them. You know, you're like,
Yeah, Gears
okay,
is trash and Halo's tired. So
yeah, you know, and the thing with Call of Duty, like, I'm one of those who stopped playing for a long time. Like,
mhm.
I didn't get into Call of Duty again until Warzone, which was free to play and it was cross platform. I was like, I brought it up to you guys. I was like, dude, there's this Call of Duty game. It's free and I can play with you guys without having an Xbox. Like, that's what drew
Exactly.
us into it. We're like, okay, like, that's what they got right. Call of Duty, the whole cross
Mhm.
platform, the whole free. Like, this is free. Like, like, obviously Fortnite's free, and I think there's a couple other battle royale. Oh, Apex Legends, that's free. It's like battle royales at this point, like, and a lot of gaming developers are starting to understand, especially multiplayer. Free is just because it's free, quote unquote, doesn't mean it is free. You will be making a
Mhm.
lot of money, like you said, seasons and all that. So it's like that's what they got right, getting people in. Like, it got me, and I think there's a couple people I used to watch, or I watch on YouTube and on Twitch, that got back into Call of Duty because of Warzone. They're like, wow, like, why not? It's fucking free to play. It's a Call of Duty. I can play with my friends, whether they're on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Yeah, let's do it. And it brought all of us back. It hooked me for a bit. I was like, wow, like, it's Call of Duty, which is
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, I don't know why I went on this tangent, but yeah, it brought me back. Oh, I didn't play for a very long time. Call of Duty
Mhm.
with Warzone brought people like me in, you know. Um,
Yeah, people like you filthy degenerate.
which, yeah, like, I just, after Modern Warfare 3, I was done. I was like, I'm never gonna play another Call of Duty again because it was tiring. It was the same. It's
Uh-huh.
just like Halo, like you said. Call of Duty, like, unlike Halo, Call of Duty is every year. There's a new Call of Duty out
Yeah.
every year, and they change it up because it's different companies that make it. It changes with engine wise and how it looks and what guns are in there and stuff like that.
But
It
I
changes
still
every
think
year.
there's a massive amount of fatigue that
Oh yeah.
franchise is getting too, because it's like I trust me, where it's like I'm not saying that Warzone is dying or like the desire to play Call of Duty is like disappearing, but it's like there's a certain prestige that I think uh, Modern Warfare 3 kind of ended.
Mm-hmm.
That there was an excitement level that just wasn't there after Modern Warfare 3. I remember fucking not even being a Modern Warfare fan and being like, I could feel the palpability from
Mm-hmm.
Modern Warfare 3. And I remember, like, what, a year later, fucking Call of Duty Ghosts came out or was teased. And it didn't have the same feeling.
Yeah.
It didn't have that same sense of palpability. It was like that. Uh, it was honestly like that after Halo Reach, after 343 took over. No offense to
Mm-hmm.
343 as the company, but that
Right.
I remember the Halo 4 trailer came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is Halo." Oh well. My ass was fucking rewinding Halo 3 trailer in 2006 like every 5 minutes, and I was rewatching the ODST trailer
Mm-hmm.
and the Halo Reach trailer because I was a fucking idiot like that. But like that sense of excitement didn't leave uh, the Halo franchise until it came after Halo Reach when 343
Mm-hmm.
took over. That sense of like prestige just seems to be disappearing, or that, like, I don't know. I don't mean to say that like it's gone, because it's like it's still something that's going to make people a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I do feel that some of the quality that I think attracts the largest variety of people to the show is no longer there.
Yeah.
I could be blowing smoke up my own ass. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
entirely sure. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I mean, I think we discussed it. Where I think a Halo BR would be fucking fantastic. I think we talked before where the concept, because Halo's always been about big ass maps.
Mm-hmm.
I think Battlefield kind of that ship has
Battlefield
failed.
was
That ship
fucking
has
doing that
failed.
shit. Yeah, Battleship. Battle fucking Field was doing that shit before anyone though. That's the thing.
Right, but the
Those
problem with them is that they were not doing a battle royale esque style. They're doing just
Mhm.
big ass multiplayer or big
Yeah.
ass maps with team deathmatch and all this other stuff, which is great if you like big
Mhm.
maps. But it's like, obviously once the BR thing came about, like they should have just been like, "Yo, we have big ass maps. Why not just make it into a BR?"
Mhm.
They had the maps, just had to change up some stuff, and there you go. Here's a BR version of Battlefield. They would
See,
have.
the thing is that BR sounds fun
Mm,
until you have it. Because
yeah.
like in concept, I love the idea of battle royale. Like, I,
Mm,
I haven't played a game where I've genuinely loved it. Like, I think Warzone feels the best. Its game feels like
mm.
really good, but I'm not in love with it. I'm in love with it because I'm with my friends.
Right.
I would love a really, really good battle royale game.
And I
I would
think
hate a battle royale for Halo because
fair
it would
enough.
be accumulation of all the things that I'm complaining about. The
Mm,
seasons, the
right.
the little stuff, all the microtransactions. It would no
Right. Right.
longer be a Halo game that's that is concerned with telling.
Right. I feel like Halo maps were already that style, especially with the vehicles. You know, Banshees. We call the vehicles at Warzone Warthogs and fucking. It's like they had vehicles already there. I don't think it would be too hard to just make a Halo map into a BR. I don't think it would be too hard, and I think it would be nice. I would play the shit out of it. Especially since I have a PC, I can play with you guys through the Microsoft shit. But like I said, Battlefield had a chance. That ship's sailed, and it won't. I think Call of Duty beat him to the punch with Warzone. Honestly, I don't know if you knew. I still have you on, right? No, you're gone. I had a feeling.
Harry,
Are you muted? Okay.
Harry,
Okay, I can hear you now.
Harry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Harry, if you can hear me, look for the sound of my voice, buddy.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, good. Just checking.
Did you hear everything I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay. All right. Before Warzone, there's actually a Call of Duty BR called Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually, I think that one was made by Treyarch. That one was liked by a lot of people when it first came out.
Okay.
But it just, they didn't upkeep it. There's a lot of issues. Um, Basically, it seemed like a trial run for Warzone.
Okay.
Um, and again, like it started off great. People really liked it, and then they implemented a few things here and there, and obviously it went bad, and the people just stopped playing it. I don't even know if people play it now, and I don't think it was free to play. I think it was specific to the Call of Duty that was out at the time. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, like that was the first Call of Duty BR, and I think that's what beat everyone to it. I believe that was before Apex Legends. I think that was around the time Fortnite came out too. But yeah, Warzone was basically the polished version of that, and had the kill streaks and had the vehicles and the guns and stuff like that, and like I I think what they should do. I think they did a poor job of implementing the new Cold War weapons and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff into
Oh, I
Warzone.
completely agree. Fucking Cold War
Obviously,
weapons.
yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of issues because balance issues with guns and all this other stuff. The biggest thing that bothers me, obviously the name of attachments bothers me because I don't know what's what. And the other thing is this guy, amazing. His name's J God. He does YouTube videos and he tests every gun, every attachment, and he's been going through everything with the new Cold War weapons. And he's noticing that in Warzone, most of the attachments don't do anything. They don't upgrade any. Like when you're looking at it, it says, "Oh, it helps with recoil," and he goes checks it out. It doesn't do anything. You have the exact same recoil if you were not running with it.
Stats that I put so much effort into don't do anything.
Exactly.
I'm just an awful player.
Especially the barrels. Like he was looking into the barrels, and one of the one gun that's favorite to a lot of Cold War players is the light machine gun called the Stoner. None of the barrels except for one of them actually do anything.
That's so weird.
Every single one. And other ones specify that it affects range and all this other stuff. And he's like, he tested all of them except for one. Every other one, it did nothing. Didn't help with range. Didn't help with recoil. Didn't do anything. And it's like, wow.
I feel lied
so
to.
yeah, it's like they implemented these new guns like horribly, and like he was testing everything out, and a lot of the submachine guns like they just copy and pasted damage and recoil and fire rate. They just copy and pasted like 5 guns. They have all the same stats. Nothing's changed. So it's like,
bastards.
Yeah, we're like, what? Like it's I don't know. Like I was reading a tweet that was saying like Warzone needs to be its own thing. Like it shouldn't be what's the word? It shouldn't be not implemented. It shouldn't be like following the new release of games. It should just do its own thing. If it's gonna add new guns, add new guns. Like to me, the thing that bothered me is there's 2 MP5s in the game. That makes no fucking sense to me. Why are there 2 MP5s? I don't get it.
Because one has to look like it's from the 80s, and the other one has to look, good.
Why don't they just have a skin?
Yeah, that would be a lot better.
Right? Like, just fucking add a skin. Like, this is MP5 from the 80s, hey. Or, like, just Cold War MP5 skin. Like, I don't need to fucking... And it's stupid that the Cold War MP5 is better than the Modern Warfare MP5. Like, how does... What... It's just... There's a lot of problems with what they did with implementing Cold War into Warzone. And, people have been complaining and stuff. This would be a good... Do you want to talk anything else about Warzone?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we already talked about it, but cheaters in Warzone, $250,000 tournament.
Oh, right. I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a guy, he's in FaZe Clan, I believe. He goes with the name of Tommy.
Dude, what is going on with FaZe? FaZe is coming through a lot of fucking, like,
okay, so FaZe is, to me, they're newer, but they've been around for years now. I'm a real, old school Call of Duty guy, like Optic. Like that, I grew up knowing who Optic was back in, 2010. Like that, I've been following professional Call of Duty for a while. I stopped obviously for a while, but FaZe is one of the newer basically at this point I would say companies, man. They're a team. They have a lot of players who play in tournaments and stuff. This guy Tommy, he was playing in a tournament, and he obviously got knocked out. He's like, all right, well, I lost. I'm out. That's fine. Let's go. He was streaming. He's like, let's go watch someone else. So, he's watching someone else, and he's sitting there, and he's noticing. He's like, man, some of these gunfights are a little suspicious, and he kept watching the guy, kept watching him. He's like, wow, this stuff's like, I don't want to be that person, but I think this guy's cheating. I think he has aimbot. and basically he hounds this dude like, dude, I have video, and he like records things in like fucking 4K and like, you know, tries to record in 120 frames per second
Yeah,
to
I
like
could see
catch
your fucking nose hair. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You know, he's like trying to like analyze every fucking clip, and he's like, look, this is cheating because of this, and that. Like, you know, like, and he's just calling this dude out. And
Damn.
this was last week, and then eventually that guy, and you know, half-assedly like admits that he maybe was cheating, and it's
I
like,
love
wow,
how they always get caught in there, and it's always like, oh man, how did that happen? Oh man, oh jeez.
yeah.
Oh,
So
darn. It's never like it's always a cop out. It's never like an admission.
yeah, he never really admitted it, but it was like he kind of like admitted that he was cheating. So then today there was another tournament, and it was a big tournament, $250,000, and again, someone saw someone. I forgot. I think the guy's from a thousand thieves or something like that, or 100 thieves, one of those. Another newer team, and he got caught, or someone was watching the clips, and he was like, "Hey man, like, you know, they're like heading up this Tommy guy because now he's like he's the guy who catches all the cheaters." So they're like, "Hey, there's this guy. I think he's cheating," and hell, people were calling him out, and he got disqualified from the tournament today, and so so after he gets disqualified, he hops off for like maybe an hour or so, and then he hops back on and says, "Hey, like, I wasn't cheating. You can look on my computer. Tell me what you guys want to see. I'll show you." Everyone's like, "After you've had an hour to delete everything in your computer? Yeah, whatever." Yeah. And he's like, "No. I don't know what you're talking about."
I'll be right back. Let me just delete all my information.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're trying to catch him. Yeah. So Tommy's like, "All right, well, let me see the clips. I want to see the clips that people were talking." And they're showing him, and man, some of this shit was like, you know, when people are when you're falling off the sky, you know, when you're diving off the plane. So this dude with a pistol, like, and he plays in a slow motion. You can see it clear as day. He like puts his parachute, he lets go, and then he starts aiming the pistol and just goes directly to the guy falling, and he just shoots him, and then
really great control on the mouse, that's for sure.
That's the thing. He's playing on controller.
Oh,
yes.
You can't. There's no excuse for that. Everyone sucks on
and
controller.
you can see that as he's aiming down sight on the guy, like the guy makes a hard left, right? Mm-hmm. And his gun is following him to the left. It's like I don't care if you're on mouse or on the controller, no one could do that hard left following this person.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no way. You know, unless you knew he was going that way. But
how do you, like, I don't get how, like, why? What's the point of doing it at a tournament? It just doesn't make sense to me.
So the thing is, so there's a bunch of clips that they're reviewing, and so when people have aimbot and they're aiming towards the head, it's pretty obvious, like, oh, this person has aimbot. How do you just get 5 straight headshots in a row, right? Like, that's just very suspicious. But for some reason, what his aimbot is doesn't aim for the head, it aims for the torso.
Center mass, yeah.
Exactly, aims for center mass. So it's like less suspicious. Like, oh, I didn't have any headshots. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it
it's
doesn't matter if the fucking, you know, if the crosshair is just like clipped to the right or left and immediately hit you're trying to hit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just it's crazy because right now, I mean, we've ran into some cheaters here and there, you know,
once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we play enough to. One, we don't play enough, and two, we don't get far into the game to run into a lot of cheaters. But you know, I keep up on Twitter with all the people that I follow, and it's been a huge thing. Like, we never ran into it, but it's called the Stim glitch. I don't know if you were aware of what that is.
No.
Okay, so basically, there's a tactical equipment kind of instead of a flash or a stun, it's called a stim pack. Basically, what it
Oh
does,
yeah,
yeah. So the stim pack,
I've heard about this controversy, and they're trying. There's a push to have it removed now, isn't it?
yeah. So apparently they removed it. There are talks that it still is in there, but from what the production company says, they removed it. I haven't seen a lot of evidence of it, but I've seen clips of it being used, and it fucking sucks. It's horrid. I don't know if you know what the glitch is, but
I don't. I don't actually. I've heard of the issue. I don't
Okay.
know what the mechanic behind it is.
so the mechanic is basically, you know how when you're in the gas and your life slowly goes down?
Yeah.
So if you stim, your life goes back to 100%. So
Okay.
the stim glitch is basically you having infinite stims. So you can hang out in the gas, just stim yourself infinitely and never die.
Yeah. We'll just wait until someone trips and fucking falls, and then we're just completely good, just chilling outside the bounds. Jesus.
Yeah, so basically whoever's like the last team or last player is like stuck in the circle. So the person who's ever doing the stim glitch just runs away. He just leaves.
So stupid.
He just goes to the other side of the map. And basically it's yeah, so like that was the stim glitch, and now that was a form of cheating, and then now there's a lot of basically hacking issues now, whether it's a bot that these professionals were caught with, or there's another one that got caught with wall hacks, basically showing where people were at. And I think you and I were
like solid objects and whatnot.
yeah, and I think you and I were discussing before where like someone was actually streaming that before.
Right.
They were streaming
Yeah.
themselves
No. We.
using the
yeah.
wall hacks, yeah. And that was
Fucking
big because it's like,
monsters.
holy shit, like these people are blatantly cheating, streaming it and saying like, oh, I'm not going to get banned. They don't fucking care. It's like, wow, okay. Like, I mean, they're probably right. How much does how much does company really care? Like, as long as they're getting their money, right? That's the concept. But it's just,
Oh, you
it's
fucking
crazy.
Be surprised.
Yeah. It's just crazy that it's gotten so bad that in a professional level, these people are able to cheat and semi get away with it, Like,
Oh,
now people are... The only reason the second person got caught in the tournament, like, the one from a week ago got caught because that guy was just randomly, he was like, I'm going to go watch this guy. Just because, I lost. Like, what am I going to be
Just
doing for the next...
chance.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch this guy because he's doing good. He was doing good. So I was like, I'm going to watch him. He looks like he's kicking ass right now. So let me just watch him play. Went into the stream with no intention. Just, I'm going to watch this guy kick ass. And he just was noticing it. Like, wow, this guy, like, man, this is a little suspicious. How does he know this guy's on the other side of the wall? Like,
Face
he's not...
is sus.
Yeah, like, and he just watches and sees it more. He's like, wow, this guy's fucking cheating. I know he's cheating. He calls him out and shit, and then obviously this time around, this tournament today, like, obviously people are going in like, hey, there's a chance people are cheating in this tournament, and people were, with sharp eyes trying to see who looks suspicious, and hey, one of them did, and who knows, there might be other people cheating too.
That's insane.
And the only, let's say the
How do
only
you even
reason,
regulate something like that. Like,
yeah, that's the
it's
thing.
a
Like,
sport, and it has its own kind of rules and
yeah.
all that. But like, really, how do you like find out if someone is doing this right? How do you like do that without being invasive of their privacy?
That's the thing. Like, I think it's hard to like, if you're going to be showcasing or going into tournaments like this, like you said, it's hard to not go into people's privacy. Like, hey, you got to stream, you got to, show your computer while you're playing, or stuff like that. It's just hard to really mitigate that in tournaments. I mean, but you have to do something because $250,000 is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, there
And
has to be some kind of recourse for something like
yeah,
that
and if someone could,
because you're. Yeah.
I was saying, if someone's gonna come in and be like, well, if I could just cheat and get this money, like,
Yeah.
and
Like,
it's like,
if an Olympian can't make money off of the fucking godlike skill that they have, but, like, they're under this high scrutiny of fucking, like, athletic solidarity or whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
then I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Why
yeah,
don't we why don't we reduce the fucking reward and put emphasis on, like, the quality of gameplay and the quality
right.
of, like, how this person is playing before we start giving someone fucking $250,000 fucking dollars.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, it's true. And I think something definitely needs to get done. And I hope something gets done. I mean, if the company doesn't do anything about it, it seems like the community is doing something about it now, calling people out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and like I was saying, like let's say you're in a tournament, you don't have to stream you playing.
Yeah.
So there could be one person with wall hacks calling people out, and one who's ever streaming is not cheating. They're just their teammates just telling them, "Hey, I see a guy on the other side of that wall. You should go kill them."
Yeah.
It's like you don't know because the other guy is not showing that he's cheating. He's just if his partner who's not streaming is like 20 feet away from him saying, "Hey, there's a guy over there," like you don't know if he saw him, poke his head out or anything.
It's you know what? It's like that fucking not the exact same thing, but it's like fucking stream sniping with
Yeah.
XQC and fucking was it Fall Guys? It's like Twitch was in the wrong with holding a public fucking server for that. But it's like
Mm,
that's some fucking dastardly shit. Like, XQC is fucking funny and, like, whatnot, but he honestly reminds me of, like, a less redeemable version of our friend Jacob.
yeah.
Like, a little neurotic, a little fucking competitive, and when he doesn't get his way, he just bitches and moans. No offense, Jacob. I love you. And I don't
We
mean
do.
that. I mean, like, you're immensely redeemable. What I mean is, like, XQC is, like, the trashiest, most cancerous, fucking renegade ass Mass Effect version of you, and you're like the Paragon, okay?
It's true.
It's true.
We love you, Jacob.
C'est vrai.
Um,
We love you, Jacob.
but yeah.
But yeah, back to. But it's like, how do you? What kind of discipline is there for something like that? Like,
I mean,
how do
obviously,
you?
the person today they got disqualified. I mean, I think that's obviously that number one thing you got to do. Disqualify them.
Is he banned?
That's the
Should
thing.
he
No,
be
no
banned?
word.
What about legal action? What when money like that is
Yeah,
on the line?
yeah.
Should
I didn't think
whoever's
about that.
hosting that, are there any laws protecting the people who upped this money? Who upped the money? Do they have a say in what goes on with this person?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
that we're gonna have to just sit down and see and what happens. But I'll be paying toast. I'll be paying close attention to it for the next week or so. See what happens. But yeah,
You
it's just
fucking
something I wanted
better
to bring up.
you better keep me updated, you sack of shit.
I will. Don't you worry about it. I think that's it for video game topics. If you have
Yeah.
any,
No,
no.
I'm good. I
Yeah.
I I stubbed my toe this morning, so there's that if you
Mm.
want to talk about that.
No, we can.
Yeah, it hurts. I have a big smile shaped hole in my big fat thumb toe. Anywho.
Mm.
Do you know all 4.5 people that my friend Harry has a toe thumb? He has one toe thumb.
But
He has a
there's
handsome toe,
there's a
and then he
specific
has the toe thumb. Yeah,
there's a specific
the
name
Megan
for it.
Fox.
No, 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 no. There's a technical term for it. I forgot about it. Forgot how it's called. It's like a
The
something.
disgusting Megan Fox.
No,
No, I'm
no.
just kidding.
There's a specific. Hold on, hold on. I'm using my phone. It is. Oh, I can't fucking pronounce that. Brachydactyly type D.
Okay, you need to chill.
I
You
think
need to
it's yeah, I
relax,
think it's just the type D thumb.
and you need to tackle that shit when you're sane and sober. Okay, pal.
I'll try. But yes, I do. It's on my left hand.
Good man. Good man.
Mm-hmm.
You own that shit.
I do.
It doesn't make you better. It just is. And I
Just
salute
is.
you for going through it.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Oh,
since you hate it when I do the plug-in, I'm gonna do the plug-in.
but first, new president. How you feeling?
Oh shit. Oh fuck yeah. I don't know. Like, so I feel like I'm a lefty in this situation. I am a lefty. I espouse leftist values.
Mm.
I'm trying to become a little more pragmatic. So instead of being the asshole who's like, you gotta hold your morals high and whatnot, I'm less about that now, and I'm like, we need to get policy in, we need to get all this other shit in that helps people instead of holding our heads high and like, fucking, we didn't get what we needed to get, but I feel good about it or I feel good about who I am because my values are.
Mm.
One of the things I see a lot is a lot of folks are shitting on Biden, and I have no doubt that once he gets a lot of these executive actions in, he's gonna get bogged
Mm.
down. Even though he's got a fucking Democratic majority in the House and the Senate, he's still gonna get fucked over with a lot of shit.
Right.
These executive orders are pretty great. I'm not doubting that. His stimulus plan is fucking great. It almost... No, it doesn't. Not almost. It does pretty much cover the disappointment I have for the $1,400 stimulus check instead of the $2,000 because the Democrats love to do the whole technicality bullshit.
Right.
I'm just worried that more significant legislation won't get pushed because they want to play the middle ground. That's all. That being said, I'm excited. I'm glad that the nightmare's gone. Time for a new nightmare. Just because Trump is gone does not mean that you stop criticizing the president.
Yeah.
And by criticizing, I don't mean he's going to destroy your way of life. It's how do you find constructive ways to criticize the president to
Right.
get people to our side? That's the important thing. I'm sorry, the left. I don't necessarily know if you share all the exact same values. It's completely fine, Hair Bear. I'm not going to throw you under the bus or anything.
Thank you.
But yeah, fuck the Republicans. Fuck how they're swapping the whole January 6th event for some kind of rallying cry to fight for their country. I see people on, everyone has that uncle on Facebook or that cousin, and mine's just talking about how this country's gone and how it's in the shitter and all that kind of stuff. So God, you've got like this 20-year-old YouTuber called John Doyle who's like talking about how we're in the collapse of the United States, and it's so silly and so stupid and so pathetic at the same time. Watching, don't get me wrong, I don't care for the Democratic Party, but the thing is that I don't consider them the same as the Republicans. I think people who consider Democrats and Republicans the same thing are immensely naive. And it disappoints me. It really disappoints me when someone who's talking to me about similar values as me and similar things that we can try to do to fix the country get stuck on the idea that they don't want to work with Democrats because they're just like the Republicans. And it kills me.
Right. I mean,
anyway, that doesn't matter. That's a talk for another time. What?
No, it's just,
What?
I mean, politicians are going to be politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, next time.
Anywho, I'm excited. again, the nightmare's over. The new nightmare begins. I'm just happy all these fucking executive actions have like he did in like a day what Trump tried to do to Obama's policies in like 4 fucking years and couldn't do. So
Yeah.
it tickles me a little bit. Um, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, another 4 years, hopefully another 8 years. I would imagine he's probably not going to run in 2024. He might have someone else, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris. I'm not sure.
I don't see why not.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, fight, fight fascism with violence and cultural outrage whenever you can. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, don't be a dick. And if you are going to be a dick to a fascist. There you go.
Words of wisdom for Mark.
There you go. Here, I think we're going to call it.
Yep.
My biscuits are burning.
Go.
Biscuits, I mean, I'm tired. I don't know what the metaphor was. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's bad from the ground up. All right, folks. Since Harry hates doing the outro, I'm going to do the outro.
Mm-hmm.
So, for anyone who would like to rewatch any of the episodes that we have aired previously, go on to Hitting the Mark with Mark, or Hitting...
Got
Oh,
it.
Harry. Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I don't know why it just says Hitting the Mark with Harry, but for some reason it just says that, and it breaks my heart a little bit because I don't get double billing. YouTube, Hitting the Mark with Harry. If you have any questions, if you'd like to contribute to any talks, or if you've had any kind of reviews, anything that you'd like to ask us, anything at all, we're lonely, you can ask us on our email, which is hittingthemark2020@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to add us on Twitter, we have Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark at capital H, capital T, capital M _ podcast. Again, at HTM _ podcast. So, all three of those, you can hit us up anytime. Probably not at night when we're sleeping, but we'll get to you as soon as we can. Yeah, we'll see you folks next week. We'll probably upload this in the next couple days.
Yep. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, assholes.
Sick.